Fest Sunday, the second day of the 2024 American Speed Fest. American Speed Fest 11 is going on at the moment, and after an exciting day of racing, round 5 of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series season, we are back on track for round number 6, starting off with EuroNASCAR Pro. And of course, that is the situation at the moment. Look at that mass of humanity taking in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. As always, these grid walks are packed out with eager fans wanting to get a closer look at the series. We have today, as I think we've already seen, got airmen from the United States Air Force based at RAF Mildenhall. They are going to be the honour guard for this weekend. Of course, we are celebrating all things USA as always at American Speed Fest. That extends to the fans. There's a lot of fans here who really do love their American culture and indeed their American cars. There is a lot of American metal on Colin Chapman Way this weekend. That is always a part of American Speed Fest, always a part of these EuroNASCAR events in general. And that is always great to see. The young fans meeting their hero drivers. That's Jack Davidson, who's one of our locals, of course, the Scottish driver, but racing under the British flag. And he is a wonderful talent and someone we could expect to be competitive in both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2 this weekend. British racer who has run that car before up at his closest circuit, Knockhill in Scotland. I can only imagine what these EuroNASCAR machines are like at Knockhill. Certainly here at Brands Hatch they are spectacular. Speaking of spectacular, it's been a great season for Hendrick so far in EuroNASCAR 2 because of the man that's with Andre.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Jelinsta. I was looking for Liam Hazelmans. Where is he? Where is he?
I think he's on the pole. He's a little nervous. He just went to the bathroom. So, yeah, no, good. I think that every driver has to do it just before the race. And here with all the fans, you just try to spend as much time with the fans as possible. But at one point, yeah, you have to be ready for the race.
Yeah, definitely. You will be racing later today. What are your goals?
Yeah, win the race for sure. I think there's no other goal right now. We find some little tricks on the setup. I think we will be super fine today.
All right, thank you so much. Ah, there he is. Liam, come here. Perfect timing, mate.
Yeah, perfect.
So, how's it going?
Yeah, very good. I mean, starting on pole, so much happier than yesterday. So, we'll see now.
Any changes to the car? Did you find something to make it a little bit quicker?
Yeah, we tried something. Not so sure if it's really better or not. But you know, at the end of the day, yeah, we just tried. I mean, now we're here, we cannot change it anymore. So now we just try to do the best out of it.
All right, thank you so much. And one thing, Adam, I was back with Jack Davidson a few minutes ago. I had to clean his windscreen because we had a bet and I lost it. The challenge we had will come later on EuroNASCAR's YouTube channel. So watch there. There's going to be a nice challenge the upcoming days after the event. So I had to clean something. So now I'm going to get more drivers in.
He stays busy, does Andre, on these weekends, and that is great. We'll have a lot of content, as we already have had a lot of additional content this weekend from the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series drivers and Andre, which is a lot of fun. This is a really fabulous event, the American Speed Fest, though. You saw it at the start of the day. American Speed Fest 11. This has become a solidified part of the Brands Hatch calendar each and every season. It is one of the most popular events on the timetable each and every year, and this circuit, of course, ideally suited to the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. It's 1.2 miles of proper bull ring, and Vittorio Gorelli won in the bull ring yesterday, Andre.
Yes, Vittorio, win after win after win. So a little bit of pressure right now?
No pressure. I think we're performing well. We're doing a good job. Maybe the other guys have pressure. Yeah, I'm confident with what we're doing. We're always there in the front, so let's keep it up. Let's keep the momentum going.
All right, thank you so much. Have fun, good luck, and see you later maybe. Back to you, Adam.
Not only, of course, did he win yesterday, he extended his championship lead in EuroNASCAR Pro. He's made it 4 wins from 5 races, even though the team were docked 20 points for a small irregularity in the car. He still leads by 15 points over Gianmarco Ercoli, Paul Giffreau, Liam Hazelmans and Luca Lasser, your top 5 in the point standings. There is the classification at the moment. Liam Hazelmans, of course, also in the front of Junior Trophy, although Paul Giffreau is outscoring him in the overall standings, so I'm not sure that's quite right. And then Thomas Tuffel, of course, winning in the Challenger Trophy category at the moment. Despite the engine letting go yesterday in EuroNASCAR Pro, he still leads in Challenger. A very good season so far for the Race Art Technology driver. There you see Lasser with his 33 car. Meanwhile, Andre, back down to you.
A little bit more luck than yesterday, because I have 2 guys wanting to talk to me, so that's fine. So you're attending the American Speedfest. How do you like it so far? Starting with you.
I'm really enjoying it. I love the atmosphere and I love all the cars that are here on pit road today.
What about you?
I absolutely love NASCAR and the American Speedfest. I've been here for 3 years now. I love to see the cars, love to see the drivers, and it's great to see some American drivers come here too from NASCAR. And yeah.
I look at your shirt, Ryan Blaney, the reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion. So you're a big fan of the EuroNASCAR as well?
Yeah, very, very big fan of NASCAR, very big fan of Ryan Blaney too. So yeah.
What about you?
I'm a Jimmy Johnson fan.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. All right, thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the day, and we go back to Adam.
It's nice when they volunteer, isn't it, Andre? That's excellent. Great to have a great example there. There's so many youngsters going into following the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, Xfinity, even the trucks, just all the way down the ranks of the NASCAR spectrum at the moment. The fan-based demographic in the UK does seem to be on a positive shift at the moment, with some more young people finding the racing. That effect, of course, may be enhanced as well as years go on by the Netflix series and by several other factors. Ultimately, it's always good to have a mix of demographics in the fan base, something that I'm sure our next guest could talk all about, Andre.
Thank you so much, Jerome Galper, the president of EuroNASCAR, next to me. Another American Speedfest, another race at Brands Hatch. Amazing fans, amazing event, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's always let's say a jewel on the crowd here at Brands Hatch. Very passionate fan, great crowd. Weather is, let's say, typically English weather. We had seen that yesterday with the rain coming for a few drains during the race, but no, always a great pleasure to be there. The track is fantastic for our cars. You can watch the whole action, so it's typically let's say the heart of the NASCAR concept, Close racing, you can watch all the action, amazing fans. You can see a lot of smiling faces, young people ready for the race.
Ready for the race, and that is one point. We have an Evo package for the cars. We have a lot of rule changes to increase the event and the racing on track. Are you happy with the changes and how the series develops?
Absolutely, super happy with the way we develop, and trust me, just the beginning. We are working now with our friends of NASCAR USA to continue to develop the series. There will be some good announcements coming in the coming months. So yeah, we are working hard, and trust me, that's just the beginning of the project. We have plenty of good things coming to continue to develop the series. As you can see, the racing product is amazing. We are probably one of the best series in Europe. So we have a strong willing to bring this to the next level in the coming months.
Adam, are you as curious as I am right now to know what's going on? We will find out in a few months. Back to you.
I'm very curious, Andre. That's some leading lines there. Also, sorry, Jerome, for the British weather. I did order some nice weather, but it didn't come in the post. it is a typically British weekend in that now the sun is starting to arrive again and people are taking the jumpers on, taking the jumpers off. In a few minutes they'll probably have to put the jumpers back on. It doesn't quite know what it wants to do today. The weather here at Brands Hatch, of course, it did interrupt the EuroNASCAR 2 race yesterday. A little bit of interesting weather. But in fact it was the EuroNASCAR Pro race, wasn't it? But regardless, hopefully it stays a little bit simpler in terms of weather conditions for this weekend. You can see the fans starting to make their way back down towards their viewing areas of choice now as we approach 20 minutes until the countdown to command. But back to Andre.
From the United States of America. Joe, can you tell me something about this car? What makes it so unique?
Sure, absolutely. These awesome cars are a tube chassis, fiberglass body, a GM 400 horsepower engine, standard 4-speed transmission, 8-shifter pattern, a lot of really cool technology in the brakes to make them stop really fast and accelerate really hard, and they're really fun to drive. It's all about the driver control and his ability and his feel of the car to make these cars work around this type of circuit.
What about the comparison to the US NASCAR World? Proper stock cars, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. Proper stock cars, all in the DNA of NASCAR, all built with the same idea to let the fans have a lot of action on the racetrack and let the drivers have a lot of fun driving these.
All right, thank you so much and enjoy this American Speed Fest. Back to you, Adam.
Yeah, these are wonderful machines, the EuroNASCARs. As we've heard from Jerome previously as well. Of course, the Evo kit over the 2023-2024 winter break, designed to enhance these cars, to make them a bit more drivable, to make them a bit more reliable. And the racing has always been fabulous in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. That's always been one of the key selling points. The quality of the wheel-to-wheel action, and we fully expect some more of that today. But it's so much more than just the racing. The weekend as a whole is an experience, as I'm sure so many down there could tell you. As they walk back from the grid walk, there you see all of the American cars on Colin Chapman Way. There's also a live action arena, there's monster trucks, there's live country music. It really is a great time, and hopefully Gianmarco Ercoli's been having fun so far, Andre.
Yeah, they are monster trucks, they are pretty cars on track, and this is the reigning EuroNASCAR Pro champion Gianmarco Ercoli. So again, a interesting starting position for you, second row. Liam Hazeman's in front of you, but the goal needs to be beating Vittorio Ghirelli. He's really, really fast. What is the difference at the moment?
So sure, the car and the team stay one step up than the other, and these moments win easy. So, but I think all the other team reduce the gap after Vallelunga, and now we can try to play for the podium, to play for the victory. I'm sure change a lot after the problem of the rescue in Vallelunga, and now I'm happy because it's normal playing these modes. No, in Vallelunga I was second and I take 7/10. Isn't normal in motorsport this, so now we stay in a normal situation.
I have to ask one thing. In Valencia you became a father for the first time. How is it with the sleeping?
A little bit, 1 hour.
Well, yeah, it's quite tough, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
But you're still ready and prepared for the race.
Yeah, I stay well for the race because the weekend of the race start early, so I have time for sleep.
All right, thank you so much. Grazie mille. Back to you, Adam.
Something tells me he's been starfishing on the hotel mattresses over the course of the last few months, going on these trips to the circuits, just taking a load off, as it were, and trying to R&R as he and his partner raise their newborn. Gianmarco Ercoli having a great year so far in his personal life and looking to rally around on that championship defence as well, trying to move his way up some standings and challenge Vittorio Grelli, of course. Ercoli currently second in the points, but he's yet to take a win this season. Here's the format then that we are seeing today. The Sunday format is the relevant part, of course. 75-kilometre race that manifests as about 38 laps here around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. And then we will have EuroNASCAR 2 out there for 60 kilometres later on this evening. They've already been through qualifying, through the races, and critically, those tyres have already been through qualifying and through race 1 on all of these cars. So these Hoosier tyres are really a little bit vintage right now. So is the cap on Ulysse Del So. Goodness me, Andre.
Timing with what you say today. So Ulysse Del So, this is a very special track for you, I think, because a lot of your idols raced here. Can you tell me something about your fascination?
I'm fascinated with the history of the track because Formula One come here in the 1960 and 70 and 18, and my idols like Jim Clark, Jack Brabham, Jackie Stewart and Ayrton Senna rode on this legendary track, but we rode on the Indy, but to rode on this track like Brands Hatch is very is fascinating.
What about the race? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to finish?
I want to have to make the points for the championship, and if I see the opportunity to overtake, I will make the opportunity, and I want to this year, like I said in the debut of the season, I want to make to be better P7 of the championship.
All right, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Back to you, Adam.
I like it. Ulysse Del So really into his motorsport history, and there is a lot of history here, of course, at Brands Hatch, which has hosted racing one way or another since 1929, and this Indy circuit is not far off the exact same outline that they were racing on all the way back in the 20s, although they used to do it in reverse. And it used to be dirt only. It used to be a dirt bike circuit. Of course, has been a key cornerstone of the UK motorsport offering for many, many decades, and an ex-Grand Prix venue, as we heard there. Paul Giffreau is with Andre.
Thank you so much, Adam. Paul, an interesting weekend so far with crazy racing, thrilling racing, intense racing. We have about 20 drivers within 1 second. It's really, really close. What about the competition? What do you think about that?
Yeah, firstly, I was really surprised that I was only P8 for this race, because I was feeling great. My lap was great for me. I was behind Ghirelli. I didn't make any mistake. And when my team told me that I was P8, I was like, oh, it's possible. And yeah, and I saw from my side to P2, there is 110, so this is really, really, really close. And yeah, so far the weekend is pretty good. Yesterday I always thought that I could be P1 for a moment, because yeah, when the raid come out, I was really faster than the 21st than Ghirelli's, and yeah, and then there was a safety car. So yeah, for now we have a pretty good pace, but everyone has a good pace. So this is really, as a competitor, is really, really nice. And yeah, let's have a good race. Let's have good battles, and yeah, I'm sure this race will be a good one.
I guess when there's a gap, you're going for it, but with the point systems, 40 points for the winner, then 35 for the second, and then just 1 point down per position. Do you have the big picture in mind, or do you say, no, I want to go there, I want to be first?
The only thing that all drivers want to be in the picture, but when you look at all the champions from the year past, it's not a driver that was winning or winning every time. That was a driver that was smart, not going for a smart for all that don't really exist. And yeah, so with my team we are already working on keep points every time. For now we are 3 at the championship, so with all the bad starts, so that shows that to finish the race is the most important, because for now I'm not the third fastest driver on the EuroNASCAR Pro, but in the championship I am. So yeah, we have to finish all the races, so this will be the goal this race, but I want to be on the podium as everyone.
double points in the playoffs later this year. How important is that?
It's all the championship will do in the semi-final and on the final. So yeah, the win will count a lot for in the final. So I think everyone will go for the gap in the finals and the semi-finals. But now the goal is just to be possible to be champion in the finals and semi-finals, nothing else.
All right, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Consistency is key, Adam.
Always. That's one of the old adages of motorsport, isn't it? And it's going to be interesting. We're talking there about, you don't need to win every race, but you also need for Vittorio Girelli to not win every race. That's a key thing. There's the EuroNASCAR Pro Drivers' Championship formats. You got the Junior Trophy for the Under-25s, the Challenger Trophy for the Elite Amateur Drivers. There's the EuroNASCAR 2 format as well to the right of screen, but then there's that Endurance Teams Championship, which is a new initiative for this year where they combine the 4 races across both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2 to create a 250-kilometer race effectively across the weekend. Really interesting way of handling a championship for the teams. There's Martin Dubek, of course, who is racing in all of the races, both EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2, and he has been very strong so far this weekend. I like the lackadaisical stance that he's taking on the side of his Hendrix Motorsport Mustang at the moment. He's looking like a very relaxed man at the moment in the EuroNASCAR paddock, and of course winning some more in the EuroNASCAR 2 class, and in a strong position as well within EuroNASCAR Pro. For this race, he will be lining up 6th on the grid. He could well try and go for a podium from there. Yeah. 10 minutes and 30 seconds until the command is given to start engines. In the next few moments, we are going to shift down there to the grid and hear from the singer of the US national anthem. We're also going to see the United States Air Force airmen providing support and honor guard. They are based at RAF Mildenhall, and the USAF making their presence known here at American Speedfest as well. It's going to be a celebration leading in to our racing for today, and I believe that in the next couple of moments we will start to see that happen as the United States Air Force Honor Guard present the flags, and then we will hear the US national anthem. We are less than 10 minutes away as well from the command, so the time for all the pre-race festivities is nearing its end. We are soon going to go racing here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, but for now, let's shift down there and observe the Honor Guard and the national anthem. There you go. That was the Star Spangled Banner and the presentation of the flags done by the USAF members from RAF Mildenhall. The American footballers are beside the cars, but they will soon vacate. The drivers are largely out of their helmets, but that will soon no longer be the case. We are about to go racing here at the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Round 6 of the 2024 EuroNASCAR Pro season is about to begin, and the question is, can anybody beat Vittorio Girelli today? Well, if there's anyone with a good chance, it is the man we heard from earlier on, Liam Hazeman's, starting from pole position in that number 50 car, the Hendricks Motorsport machine. There is Hazeman's, always cuts a cool, calm and collected figure, but a little bit of pressure on his shoulders today to try and secure another race win. He is the only other driver to have won a race this year, incidentally, with his win in Valencia Race 2 last month.
All events we are playing the American anthem and the local anthem. And we forgot to do that, did we?
And then Vittorio Girelli is going to be on the outside of the front row. That's going to be very, very exciting. Girelli will line up on the outside of that row, and that means, of course, that he's in the somewhat unfavoured position. So far, it seems to have proven to be the case that Vittorio Girelli has, or rather that the driver on the outside of the front row has been the car that loses out. On the run down to the first corner, so that means that perhaps Gianmarco Ercoli from the inside of row 2 can try and challenge for second place. It would be a mighty manoeuvre from Girelli if he can hold on around the outside going into the first corner, but it is Liam Hazeman certainly with the high ground as this race gets underway. Ercoli and Lasser on row 2, Armetta and Dubek on row 3. Some interesting drivers a little bit further back. Paul Giffroy only on row 4 in 8th position. That is going to be one to watch. Tobias Dauenhauer also only 12th on the grid. Dauenhauer has looked like one of the quicker drivers in the category this year at times, but he's not really had a great run of it so far here at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So we'll see how he does. Jack Davidson, of course, starting from 16th. He'd love to get a EuroNASCAR Pro top 10 here at a circuit that he knows well, the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. As you can see, quite a short, sharp, and at least on paper, fairly simple layout. But across that 1.9 kilometers, 1.2 miles, there are many challenges and a lot of elevation that you simply can't see from the view we have here. The Brabham Straight leads into Paddock Hill Bend. You then go falling through a couple of stories and then back up the hill towards Druids, down towards Graham Hill Bend, Surtees, McLaren, Clearways and Clark to conclude the lap here at the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. We will circulate it no less than 38 times over the course of the next few moments. We're less than 3 minutes away from the countdown to command as well. Fans making their way back into the Paddock Hill Bend grandstand at the moment, of course. Most of them will no doubt have marched down to the grid walk to meet some of the racers. There have been opportunities to meet our drivers all throughout the weekend as well. The Victory Lane area that's just behind that grandstand hosted a Meet the Drivers situation earlier on. Those guys realised they were on camera there. There was a bit of a point and oh no. But 2 minutes until we fire up these motors. As you heard earlier on from Joe down there, 400 horsepower in each of these machines, and there's 24 of them on this grid. That means we're in the region of 9,600 brake horsepower worth of fire and fury as they run down towards the first corner. That's going to be very, very exciting to watch, as always. The thunder of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, the sound of these V8s is always so fabulous, and as a V8 theme in general, the arch enemy in terms of audio, of course, this weekend. Andre has referenced a couple of times the Bernie's V8. They are a fabulously varied grid of V8 powered machines, from Corvettes to Camaros to Mustangs and all sorts of different stuff as well. Those 5/8 scale Legends cars as well that we saw at Vallelunga with the Italian series. They're here with the UK series as well. Lots of racing beyond EuroNASCAR, always at American Speedfest, as well as all of the festivities around the Brands Hatch site as well. This is a highlight of the calendar, the crown jewel, as Jerome Galhan said. For good reason. The fan base, the organisers on the ground here in the UK really do put in a great shift to make sure this event feels special. And if it doesn't feel special yet, there's one way to make it special, and that is to finally get those engines fired up. We're 15 seconds from the countdown to command. Let's go down there and hear from our Grand Marshals.
Drivers, start your engines!
There you go, that's Izzy and Becca, two guests of the title sponsor, Whelen, giving the countdown to command. And now the drivers have indeed started their engines. We are almost ready to go racing here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And this is going to be an interesting little race, I think, with Gurelli there on the outside of the front row. That, to me, throws up the most variables that we've seen so far this weekend, because, again, that outside of the front row is not the favoured place to be. Liam Hazeman definitely has a very good chance of leading this race in the early going. We've seen that Gurelli can control a race from the front, but if he's not at the front, can he get there? That's going to be the question. It's Hazeman and Gurelli on row 1. Gianmarco Ercoli will be looking to try and get a good start from the inside of row 2. He's alongside Luca Lasser. Then it's Fabrizio Armetta with another great start for him. He is alongside Martin Dubeck. 7th position, Ulysse Del So alongside Paul Giffreau, Vladimir Osiortzis and Thomas Chrysonis round out our top 10 ahead of Sebastian Blakemolen, who made up 5 positions on the first lap yesterday. He is alongside Tobias Dowenhauer. Max Maserati is in row 7 of the grid along with Thomas Tefel, Victor Neumann and Jack Davidson, two drivers very familiar with Brands Hatch, line up on row 8. Thomas Dombrowski 17th, Ryan Vargas from 18th. He felt like he had a good car underneath him following warm-up, so we'll see if he can work his way up the order. Then it's all 8s on row 10. The 88 Max Lanza and Dario Casso in the number 8 in 20th place. Riccardo Romagnoli, the 43, in 21st alongside Kenko Miura in the 74. Nick Strickler and Frederick Perrier round out our 24 drivers taking the start here in the EuroNASCAR Pro race. It is our 3rd EuroNASCAR race of the weekend, our 2nd, of course, in EuroNASCAR Pro. Round 6 of the season is coming up, and it's coming up quickly. Just one more formation lap for these drivers. They will go 2 by 2 next time by, and then we will kick this race into life. 38 laps of the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, the most famous bull ring in UK motorsport. Martinsville with right-hand turns has been one description this weekend. That was from Ryan Vargas. EuroNASCAR 2's Claudio Reggio Capelli likening it to Monaco without the buildings. Much like Monaco, it is a EuroNASCAR crown jewel. It's always great to be back in the Brands Hatch paddock, and I think that we can attest to that once again. And I see that we are now done with all of the preparations. The racing will begin in just a few seconds. So then, They now go 2 by 2 down the Cooper Straight. The electric leading car will soon vault away from the field, and then it will be time for our racing here. Again, it's Hazeman's in the 50 car on that front row of the grid in the all-important position on the inside of the front row. Can Garelli minimize the effect of being on the outside line? The colourful nature of the grid, all of those different fabulous creative racing liveries that we have here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Not all of them will be as clean now as they are in 38 laps time. Expect some bumper to bumper now as we go racing on Sunday at the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And almost immediately there, Gianmarco Ercoli nearly hooked Liam Hasemans as they ran down to the first corner, but it's Hasemans that leads. Garelli looking like he has a little bit of front damage there. Was that already pre-existing? I'm not sure, but nonetheless he's on the outside line and he's really hemorrhaging positions in the early stages. He drops to 4th place. It's Hasemans from Ercoli, from Lasser, from Garelli, from Dubek, your top 5. Armetta getting squeezed out there by Paul Giffreau as well, but it's Hasemans that leads the way on lap 1 of the race. Gianmarco Ercoli trying to make something happen for himself from 2nd position at the moment. He started 3rd, and as perhaps a few people expected, that inside of row number 2 has worked in his favour. They cross the line then, we are on lap number 2. Hasemans has had the start exactly how he wanted it. Everything has gone to plan for Hendricks Motorsport so far. It's been a strong start from Dubek. He runs in 5th, but moreover their pole sitter has retained the lead in the early stages of the race. Oh, but a big crash. That looks like the 27 car and possibly Jack Davidson involved as well, because you see there some pink bumperage on the turf as well. But the 27 car with a big impact there, Max Maserati, has had a crash. Now that is almost inevitably going to lead to a safety car. Be ready for full course yellow is the call to the... Oh, and they're not ready for the full course yellow. That was messy. Oh dear. Well, they just about managed to avoid an actual crash, but there was some contact there as they went to full course yellow. Everyone stacking up into each other. They now revert to the correct order, but dramas on the first lap of the race here. Or on the second lap of the race, I should say, at Brands Hatch. You can see there the 27 car. Looks like that's the only car that has ended up stationary. I think there's some pink bodywork there that's telling as well. That Chrysonis, yes, there is Jack Davidson's car, sans front bumper, so I was right about that. We just saw that. Chrysonis with damage to the rear of his car as well. We saw him running without his rear bodywork, so a few cars involved in a collision in the midfield seemingly, but Max Maserati getting the worst of it, sadly, on home turf. He has been enjoying the support of the fans this weekend, but unfortunately his EuroNASCAR Pro race has come to a premature end here. Quite a few damaged cars then towards the rear. Ryan Vargas has survived it. Victor Neumann has survived it as well. 2 drivers who've had a little bit of damage at various points this season. And Maserati out of the car. Seems to be okay, but just watching the process ongoing at the moment, and perhaps replaying the moment in his head, thinking how it could have gone differently. So then the safety car has been deployed. We're under safety car conditions for the first time this weekend. Now, safety car laps can get added to the race distance, so there's potential here for a couple of extra laps to get added at the end of this safety car period. It's the inside of Paddock Hill Bend that Maserati hit initially, so he went coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, he would have slid right, and obviously I think potentially made some contact with a couple of others as he slid back across the circuit to the left where the car ultimately rested. But the important thing is he's out of the car, and the important thing is it seems that everyone else involved is still running as well. A little bit of damage on Gorelli's car is interesting on the front. Is it damage or is it just some lost vinyl wrap? It's hard to say, but certainly not a great first lap from Gorelli, running 4th position. Not where he'd have wanted to be after lap number 1. Now, will Davidson continue on with that damage on his car, or will they try and get some new bodywork on it? Certainly doesn't look like he's heading for pit lane. He's had a couple of opportunities to duck in already and hasn't taken them. Everyone working hard to try and keep the heat in the Hoosier rubber and keep the heat in the brakes as well. Brake temp very important, with Paddock Hill and Druids greeting you as soon as you go back to green flag racing. Car already being craned away by the wonderful marshals here at Brands Hatch. Volunteer marshals, of course, a huge part of motorsport, and we always thank them for their commitment to the cause that is motor racing. And they, as always, put a sterling effort into this year's action in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and showing the efficiency that they're known for here at Brands. We may get this race back underway fairly sharpish then, not this time by I don't think, but perhaps only 1 or 2 more laps. Good point raised by Andre down in the pit lane. Maserati crashing the 27 today. That was also a car that was involved in quite a big incident in free practice. Giussani had a big crash with it on Friday. And then Patrick Schauber in 2023, of course, had a big crash with Jack Davidson down at the same part of the circuit, actually, between Paddock Hill Bend and Druids. Also saw there that Armetta is running quite a damaged car by the looks of it as well. Chrysonis with front and rear bodywork, so I think a few drivers ultimately caught in the melee. Latest news from race control is that they should be ready for a restart, so I think we're going back to green flag conditions this time by here. And we'll start in 2x2 formation. It's confirmed safety car in this lap, 2x2 restart. And that's going to be interesting because that now means that it's Gianmarco Ercoli on the outside of the front row. How's that going to feel for him? Gianmarco Ercoli, who took advantage of being on the inside last time, he is now on the outside. Luca Lasser is on the inside of row number 2. He could try and profit off this, and it's a good opportunity for Vittorio Gorelli to potentially make up some positions as well, as he is now side by side with the third place man. The driver who started on the front row is yet to finish lower than second in this EuroNASCAR season, Vittorio Gorelli. The second place coming in Spain in race number 2. He has won every race since then, both races at Vallelunga, and then race 1 yesterday here at Brands Hatch. So what can he do to try and salvage at the very least a podium? It's Liam Hasemans that leads the way then, the driver who sits 4th in the championship standings, the only other race winner so far this year. He leads them off as we go back to green flag action once again. I think a little bit of a tap there from Lasserre to the rear of Hasemans as they go running through the first corner. Erkeli clinging on around the outside line. He's still side by side with Hasemans as they run through Druids Bend. Oh, but out wide there from Hasemans, I think, trying to block everybody all at once. Lasserre in second then. He's moved up to P2 at the expense of our reigning champion, Gianmarco Erkeli. And Martin Dubeck is up to 4th place. Up to 5th place, meanwhile. Is that Tobias Dauenhauer? Yes, it is. Dauenhauer, who moved up to 7th place before the safety car period. I didn't cover that. He had a very good start then from P12 on the grid, and he is now running right up there in the top 5. The promotion driver, the German racer, now running in 5th position. Oh, some bodywork down there on the approach to the first corner as well. That is less than ideal. Hopefully no one cuts their tyre. Vittorio Garelli only running 6th place. Something seems to be awry with the number 24 car. That characteristic form and speed and prowess of the PK Car Sport machine just isn't there right now. And in fact, is that smoke from the mid-pack? I don't know quite who that was smoking, but it looked like there was some tyre rub potentially going on for one of our drivers. Your order as they cross the line is Hasemans, Lasserre, Erkeli, Dubeck, Dauenhauer, but he's under pressure from Vittorio Garelli. 7th place, Giuffreau. 8th place, Del So, Tafel and Armetta rounding out your top 10 here. We are just 8 laps into the race. It's still listed as 38 laps on the distance. We're now on lap 9 of the race. Meanwhile, I hear that Thomas Chrysonis pulled out of the race as well in the back of shot. So Chrysonis apparently going no further, which is unfortunate. Hopefully they can focus then on EN2, EuroNASCAR 2, because he is the pole sitter for that race. He'll want to be taking advantage of that opportunity. Meanwhile, Dauenhauer and Garelli going at it. Garelli has the pace in the car, clearly. He just hasn't had the track position. The car's looking feisty. The Italian racer looking feisty as he follows here, the 99. That little bit of damage on the front shouldn't be causing him too much of a problem. Giuffreau shadowing as well, though, so he's got defending and overtaking to do at the same time. That's never an easy balance. Hasemans has the clear road ahead of him. Just about everybody else is in a pack behind him at this stage of the race. We cross the line now to begin lap 11 of the race. Turn through Paddock Hill Bend, hopping over the curbs. And look at that Tafel there running a bit wide through Paddock Hill in the back of shot. They have to be careful, of course, with the track limits as this race goes on. It was a bit wide there from Dauenhauer by the looks of it. Some smoke being billowed up as well as they lock the brakes. Just getting confirmation now that 2 laps will be added to the race as well, and that's confirmed. It's now lap 11 of 40 that we will complete this time by moving on to lap 12. This time by, they will cross the line to begin lap 12 of this race. It's Hasemans that leads the way. He's building that gap over Lasserre, and Lasserre with Erkeli and Dubeck looking very large in his mirrors right now. Luca Lasserre is definitely under a lot of pressure. Of course, Erkeli was running second. And then with the restart, the 2x2 restart, he lost out to Lasserre. What about Martin Dubek? He has been holding victory lane hostage in a similar way to Vittorio Garelli so far in this 2024 EuroNASCAR 2 season, and he's also been very fast in Pro. Dubek would love to match his race wins in EuroNASCAR 2 with some more EuroNASCAR Pro podiums, that much is for certain. Oh, and Jack Davidson there. Front bodywork or no front bodywork, diving to the inside of the 43 of Romagnoli. That was a move for 17th place. In fact, Davidson was ahead, but I think he lost out through Paddock Hill Bend and then regained the position. Over the start-finish line, past the Brabham Straight they go once again. Now down through Paddock Hill Bend, such a fabulous corner. Dubek to the inside at Druids. Oh, and he gets it done. A good run out of the first corner, leads into the inside for Druids Bend, and critically, he doesn't allow Ercole the inside line for the following corner, Graham Hill Bend. Made sure he got through definitively there into third position. That number 7 Hendricks car has been looking hooked up this year. Unfortunately, Tefel has hooked up with someone else, I think, by the looks of it, and is now lacking his rear bodywork. There's a lot of debris down there at the turn 2 exit, the exit of Druids Bend. Hazemans, Lasserre, Dubek, Ercole, your top 4 in the race. Downhauer in 5th, still defending up against Vittorio Garelli, who's struggling to find a way by. Giffro, Delso, Armetta and Blakemolen, your top 10. And a word for Ryan Vargas as well. He's moved up to 11th position from 18th on the grid. Now on the verge of the top 10 in his 3F Racing Chevrolet Camaro. So Garelli, who's been stuck behind Downhauer for a few laps now, is actually under increasing scrutiny at the moment from Paul Giffro, the reigning EuroNASCAR 2 champion, of course, not defending his title this season because he's no longer eligible for EuroNASCAR 2, but looking to make an impression on EuroNASCAR Pro. No better way to do that than passing the man who currently leads the championship, Gilles Delso, who really loves this Brands Hatch circuit, running in 8th position right now as well. He would love the opportunity to move through a bit further if he can. Downhauer, the surprise package of the race so far in terms of moving up through the order. Again, I remind you, he started that race, this race, from 12th on the grid, and he was already up to 7th by the time the safety car was scrambled, now running in at the top 5. We're on lap 17 of the race. Go through Graham Hill Bend. Power out to Clearways and Clark onto the Brabham Straight, and then thousands of fans sit to drivers left, watching the racing unfold here at American Speed Fest. Full grandstands here at Paddock Hill Bend and full spectator areas as well down through the entire circuit. 10-second penalty for causing an avoidable collision with the 34 car, sorry. So Armetta has been penalised 10 seconds for colliding with Thomas Tefel. I think that explains fairly aptly why Tefel was facing the wrong way with his bodywork missing. And what about Martin Dubek? Now he's on the back of Luca Lasser. It's Mustang on Mustang for second position at the moment. We begin lap 19 of the race. And Dubek there, a little bit of a lock-up on the apex, but still gets the car turned in. It's often a bit of a worry if you get a lock-up there on the apex of Paddock Hill Bend. You can quite easily find the gravel, but he controlled it well and is really haranguing the rear of Lasser. Lasser, who is now dipping into the 50-second barrier. He was 3/10 slower than Hasemans on the previous lap. That gap was out to 1.5 seconds. Lasser, bodywork a little bit loose as well on the front of that car, potentially from the stack-on-stack-on-stack collision that we had as the full course yellow came out. Dubek really nails the apex of Paddock Hill Bend there, gets a decent run as well, despite hopping the curb, but not close enough yet to make the move. Further back down, Hauer is still under pressure from Garelli, but Garelli is feeling a lot of pressure from Paul Giffreau as well. Battles all throughout the order here, as you would expect. There you see that second queue in the back of shot. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th all together. Dubek straight across the grass there at Surtees and McLaren. You can often just get tempted into trying to take a little bit more speed through Surtees, and it bites back quite quickly. He was lucky that he already built a margin over Gianmarco Ercoli, otherwise he might have lost his third place there. Pirelli looking to the inside of Tobias Downhauer. Giffreau with a good run out of Paddock Hill Bend. He looks to the inside briefly, but can't make the move. Armetta driving like a man possessed at the moment. Obviously, he's already got that penalty attributed to him, so moving up the order probably won't do him terribly much good. Let's briefly circle around. Oh, goodness me. What Giffreau was going for it there at Clearways and Clark. He was very close to making the move. It's just a matter of time, I think, before Giffreau finds a way by. It seems like he's got the performance over Vittorio Garelli. They go downhill through Paddock Hill Bend. Giffreau straying a little bit wider than the others, trying to get a good run. Armetta to the inside there of Del So again. He's got that penalty, but he can still fight for the positions. There's no reason not to fight for them, but ultimately it's probably not going to get him anywhere in terms of making up places with that 10-second penalty hanging over his head. Of course, our overall race leader, Liam Hasemans, also leads the junior trophy classification as well for the under 25 drivers. The next best driver in that classification is Giffreau in 7th place as Ulysse Del So drifts wide there. Del So losing out then to Fabrizio Armetta. Armetta drags by on the run down to the first corner. Del So just left the door a little bit open there. Armetta didn't need to be asked twice. Meanwhile, in Challenger Trophy, Max Lanza currently running 12th overall. He's having a solid race. And he's leading Challenger over Romagnoli in second in class. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th all in a queue as Giffreau tries to move forward in the train. Then it's Blake Emolen in 10th place, and just behind is Vargas, who is seemingly closing in a little bit as well, although his pace is actually about even with Blake Emolen at the moment. So we'll see whether or not Vargas can maybe try and salvage a top 10 from an 18th place starting position. That would be great for him. Armetta with his very, I would say, loosely applied front bodywork. That's holding on by a thread at this stage. Interloping with this battle, of course, despite the penalty. Meanwhile, Dombrowski and Miura having a good fight as well. So Thomas Dombrowski running 13th position at the moment. Kenko Miura 14th. He's moved up on the previous lap to get past Riccardo Romagnoli, and the Japanese racer wants his way past Dombrowski as well in the Toyota. Some good fighting further back in the field then. Go downhill out of Paddock Hill towards Druids Bend. 15 laps left to go, with the added laps making it a 40-lap race distance. Liam Hazemans leading the way by 1.3 seconds, and that gap has stabilised recently. In fact, the gap is coming down slightly, so Lasser currently lapping quicker. Dubek hasn't been able to get to the rear of Lasser again since he went across the grass at McLaren and Surtees. Ercole, Downhauer, Garelli, Giuffreau, Armetta, Delso and Blakemolen in your top 10. As you saw a few moments ago, Giuffreau again getting close to the rear of Garelli, but I think he cost himself time really there. He's now got Armetta right on his rear bumper. Contact between Armetta and Delso under investigation. Let's see what comes of that then. Armetta looking to the inside of Giuffreau, and Giuffreau really is struggling here to hold off the 55 Club Motorsport entry. Again, he closed in on Garelli, tried to make a move that didn't stick, and since then he's had his attention firmly on the car behind him, the walking wounded 55 machine. Looking to the inside line there at Druids Bend, can't get it done there. The gap between the top two is still coming down. The number one car is off the circuit. Vladimiros Siotzis having a moment there coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. Did he just stray wide? That's the likely scenario. He was already running down in 20th place, not where he would want to be in the slightest. And that moment off track is only going to compound things. Giuffreau looking to the inside of Garelli, but in turn being attacked by Armetta. A little bit of a nudge there from Armetta to the rear of Giuffreau. Giuffreau will be thinking, I just want to move up the order, I don't want to defend. But he's got no choice in the matter. I'll tell you what, I don't think it'll be too long before Sebastian Blakemolen joins the queue. He's closing in on the rear of this pack. Could Blakemolen move further up in the top 10 as Giuffreau and Armetta are side by side. Giuffreau on the outside line. Armetta gets through into 7th position. Again, that penalty that looms over his head means he'll lose the place, but at least on the road, he's now up to P7. Downhauer retaining that 5th position, leading this queue of cars. He'll be disappointed that he wasn't able to follow the top 4. But he'll be satisfied with the fact that he's holding off Garelli, that he's holding off Giuffreau. Again, I remind you, Garelli is yet to finish lower than 2nd place so far this season, and that statistic is about to be shattered. Not only will he not be on the podium, he may not even be in the top 5 at the end of all this. And he is now facing pressure from Armetta, who seems to be enjoying this race, but that's contact. Another little push to pass situation potentially there. Armetta, I think, letting him back through. Just lifting out the throttle a little bit on the run to Graham Hill Bend by my eye. But now Armetta is the inside for Surtees potentially. Oh, they make contact at the apex. I'm sure they made a little bit of contact there, and this is getting a little bit messy. Fabrizio Armetta getting physical in his quest to move up the order, and this is taking Garelli's attention now. Giffro, Delso, and indeed Blakemolen are all together on the circuit. Blakemolen just a couple of car lengths away from joining the queue. In turn, this is allowing Tobias Downhauer to get a little bit of a cushion between himself and Garelli. But interesting scenes here as the championship leader is really having to stick his nail in to stay in the top half dozen. They turn through Surtees and McLaren. Now powering out of the final corner down the not quite straight Brabham Straight. Now, has the offensive from Armetta concluded or not? That's going to be the big question. I somehow think it has not. Martin Dubeck has ended up on the rear of Leclerc once again, so in turn that has allowed Hasemans to rebuild his gap. It's back out to 1.6 seconds now. It was briefly dipping under a second a little earlier in the race, but perhaps Hasemans was just trying to save his tyres for the last few laps. These tyres at this point will have done something like maybe 85, 90 laps of the circuit between qualifying, Superpole and the races. Dombrowski and Romagnoli going at it. Romagnoli's gotten back past Miura and is now trying to move up for P13. The inside line waits for him at Graham Hill Bend. Meanwhile, Dubeck not close enough to Leclerc for a move at Druids. Armetta has gotten past Garelli. Garelli has dropped down to 9th position. What's happened with Vittorio Garelli? He has been unceremoniously shifted 3 places down. I said I didn't think the offensive was over from Armetta. Armetta is through into 6th place. Again, he's got a 10-second penalty hanging over his head. But Armetta has dropped down behind Armetta has gotten past Garelli, and Garelli has dropped down past Giuffro and Delso as well. This is a disaster for Vittorio Garelli. He's now got his old team boss, Sebastian Blakemolen, sat on his rear. Lap 34 of the race, and this has been a tale of woe so far for Vittorio Garelli, the first real chinks in the armour that we've seen all season long. That PK Car Sport machine has looked fabulous all year, even when it was purportedly not quite driving right. He still finished second in race 2 at Valencia. But today, the car just isn't playing ball with the Italian racer. Incident between cars 55, that's Armetta, and 24, that's Garelli, under investigation. That could be interesting. Ryan Vargas is closing in on Sebastian Blakemolen as well. Blakemolen, who's now welded to the rear of Garelli. A little bit of a tap there again from Armetta. He's on this push-to-pass drive, isn't he? And Downhauer is the latest one to feel the wrath of the Club Motorsport car's front bumper. As loosely held on as it is, it's being used for putting the bump in bumper. I suspect that may have been a bump too far because it's looking a little bit like it's dragging along the floor now. I think that might have been a bump too far for Armetta. But Downhauer still under threat from him. Of course, Armetta, I remind you, has a 10-second penalty, so regardless, he's going to fall back behind everybody down to Vargas. So Vargas is actually in a net 10th place at the moment, whether he knows it or not, with the 10-second penalty for Armetta. But Armetta seems to be going down in a blaze of bent bodywork today. Oh, and that was a very rude bump there. That was a heavy one. He gets Armetta, he gets Dauenhauer loose. Car 55 drive-through penalty has just come up on my screen. So drive-through penalty for Fabrizio Armetta as he continues to get the elbows out here in this race at Brands Hatch. And again, another hit to the rear of Dauenhauer. This has been some rather rough and ready racing from Fabrizio Armetta, and it is now being punished. Of course, only so many laps left in the race. If he doesn't serve the drive-through, I have no doubt it'll be converted into a time penalty, and probably quite a harsh one at that. But Fabrizio's been pushing, literally and figuratively, in this race. Hasemans leads the way then, with just 3 laps left to go, 1.2 seconds clear of Leclerc. Dubek still pressuring Leclerc in the battle for second place. Ercole running all on his own in P4. Then it's this queue of cars: Dauenhauer, Armetta, Giuffreau, Delso, Gorelli, Blakemolen, your top 10. Now, will Armetta serve his drive-through before the end of the race? Regardless, he's going to tumble through the order because of the pre-established 10-second penalty that he was already having to consider. And indeed, he comes in for the drive-through, so that now releases Giuffreau, Delso, Gorelli and co. But Armetta's race effectively at its end there then. He will end up finishing well outside the top 15, I think. So then, Vargas, Blakemolen, Gorelli, Delso and Giuffreau all making up places there as Armetta pits, and now Giuffreau is going to lead the charge to the rear bumper of the German. Will we see a late shift for the top 5 here from Paul Giuffreau? Gorelli is under a lot of pressure from Sebastian Blakemolen. There's still a lot of respect between those two former teammates, so I'm sure that will be clean racing. We are now on the final lap of the race. Hasemans, with Leclerc once again closing in on him, has led this race from the front, has managed this race rather fabulously. He has led every single lap here in round 6 of the season. Liam Hasemans powers out of the final turn. Leclerc tries to get the power down early in a bid for a late move, but it is going to be Liam Hasemans that crosses the line for his second victory of the EuroNASCAR Pro season. He wins it from Leclerc. Dubek third. Ercole crosses the line eventually in 4th place. There he goes through now. And will it be Dauenhauer still in 5th place? Let's see. Yes, it is. Dauenhauer 5th. Giuffreau 6th. 7th place for Delso. Gorelli in 8th place. Blakemolen 9th. And Ryan Vargas rounding out the top 10. He will be happy with that result after starting from P18. Armetta across the line in 11th place, actually, so he didn't drop as far down as I thought with the drive-through, but of course he will have a 10-second penalty regardless, so he is going to drop further down the order, I'm pretty sure. In fact, with the penalty applied, he still finishes 11th, but yeah, something tells me that there's more postscript to come vis-a-vis Fabrizio Armetta, because we saw quite a lot going on there, and I don't think we saw all of it. Lanza, 12th place. He crosses the line to win Challenger Trophy ahead of Romagnoli. Kenko Miura will round out that podium. But this man, Liam Hasemans, has secured another victory. Still, only 2 drivers have won a race so far this season. But for the first time, we see that Gorelli is fallible. Liam Hasemans wins the race from Luca Lasea and Martin Dubek. Your podium, Gianmarco Ercoli in 4th position ahead of Tobias Downhauer, who led that queue expertly despite some nudges from behind. Paul Giffreau in 6th place. 7th position for Ulysse Delso. Vittorio Gorelli in 8th place. Sebastian Blakemolen and Ryan Vargas rounding out your top 10. Of course, Gorelli, as I alluded to during the race, 4 wins and a 2nd place was his score sheet prior to this race. There was something amiss, I think, with the PK Car Sport machine today. It clearly wasn't quite underneath him. And he'll be disappointed with P8, but he should still be our championship leader. He will still be our championship leader. Liam Hasemans, though, will have moved himself up the standings, will have heightened his lead as well in Junior Trophy, especially with Dufro finishing just 6th place overall. But in general, a 2nd win really does confirm that Hasemans is a primary championship protagonist, as if we didn't already know that. Fun statistic from EuroNASCAR's media man Razor, saying that it's the first time that Liam has won outside of Valencia in EuroNASCAR Pro. Of course, his first ever win in EuroNASCAR came here in 2022 in EuroNASCAR 2. He won the race after a late surge through the order in an overtime. Hasemans seems to like this Brands Hatch circuit. He certainly likes Valencia. It's the first time we've seen him in victory lane in EuroNASCAR outside of the circuit Ricardo Tormo. NASCAR Pro win number 3 of his career. Going to look back at the start here. That's what I was talking about at the very beginning. Gianmarco Ercoli just nibbled the rear there of the number 50, and there we saw actually the PK Car Sport 24 car running around the outside of Paddock Hill Bend. The bumper actually folded underneath the car, or the splitter folded underneath the car as he went through the corner, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe that splitter damage was part of it. So Vel, of course, getting tagged. Siortzis running off the circuit. There were quite a few incidents and accidents throughout this race, but just seeing that restart, seeing the race start on replay, reveals to me perhaps a little bit of why the momentum stalled for Gorelli. Hasemans jumps off the roof of the car as he celebrates his victory. Hendricks Motorsport with a lot to celebrate at the moment between EuroNASCAR Pro and EuroNASCAR 2. Linster will be hoping that number 50 car is as well hooked up for him later on when they go racing once again in EuroNASCAR 2. Hasemans is celebrating. Gets the helmet off in debrief now with Gilles Linster. He will soon be in conversation, I'm sure, with Andre Vigold down in victory lane. But Hasemans, an ever popular figure, Hollywood Liam Hasemans, the 2022 EuroNASCAR 2 champion, and we knew back then when he was winning EuroNASCAR 2 that he'd be one to talk about. Of course, brother Loris, a champion as well in EuroNASCAR Pro. And this could be a year where he challenges Gorelli. Gorelli has often looked like a tank with impenetrable armor so far this year, but not this time. For the second time in the season, it is the Dutchman that secures the victory, and he will have a lot to celebrate this evening here in the UK. He's in conversation with Andre. We'll bump down there in just a few moments to hear from our race winner, hopefully, and the driver of the 50 car. The only man in EuroNASCAR Pro to have gotten a sticker not named Vittorio Girelli. He's with Andre right now.
Thank you so much, Adam. The second win of the season. Liam Hazeman's the winner of EuroNASCAR Pro. It looked easy, but I think it wasn't, right?
No, not at all. I mean, actually, definitely by the restart, you know, starting 2 by 2. Yeah, and I mean, I got the push from Lasser because Hercules was on the outside, so that actually helped me a bit to push him wide. So yeah, that was really good. And yeah, I mean, the whole race the car was pretty awesome. Just at the end with the lapped cars, you know, of course you try to take it quite gently, and then of course you have Lasser that was taking all the risks. So I saw him catching back a lot, but no, very happy. I mean, finally the second race win for this season. Yes!
You're the only one beside Vittorio Girelli winning a race so far, so the championship battle is on, right?
Yeah, definitely, it's for sure on. I hope now we're going to Venray, that's our home race, so yeah, hopefully we can bring the fight there as well.
Oval racing, good point. How is it?
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I did one time an LMV8 race there, I won it also, so yeah, I hope we can achieve the same thing back.
All right, thank you so much, congratulations, you know what's coming up right now.
Yes.
I have something for you.
Awesome.
Back to you, Adam.
Here we go. There's a victory sticker apiece so far for Hazeman's and Linster between the number 50 car, but this is the second sticker
No, I don't have to.
for Liam Hazeman's.
No, I'm always on the background. I like it.
He's a happy man. And that's an interesting note that we heard from him there. He's done some late model racing at Venray. That's interesting. He's got some prior experience. Not everybody will be able to claim that going into the 29th and 30th of June when EuroNASCAR goes racing on the oval for the first time in 5 years. It will be celebrations for Hendricks Motorsports. Perhaps they'll have even more to celebrate if Jill Linster can do something similar in the pro race, or indeed Martin Dubeck, of course. Great to see Liam interacting with the fans here. He's a really fun-loving guy. And always open to being jovial with the fans. He's going to do a chat in a moment with the local airwaves. Meanwhile, Jill Linster's ready for a chat with Andre.
To congratulate your teammate after an incredible race. You're looking forward to race this car later on?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it looks super good now outside. Liam did again an amazing job. I keep on saying it. It's the greatest talent we have in EuroNASCAR for sure. And yeah, it's just I'm so happy to have him on my side.
Maybe we can explain a little bit what it takes to share a car, because later on you will be in the exact same car, EuroNASCAR Pro by Liam Hazeman's, you in EuroNASCAR 2. What do they have to change right now to fit it to you?
Actually, it's good. Like Liam and me, we're driving exactly the same style, so we never change anything. So if it's fast for him, it's fast for me. And yeah, I think that's also a big gain for the team to have two drivers with the same driving style. And yeah, now it's all on me, jumping in and hoping to win the race too.
Same with the seat, you don't have to change there something?
Yeah, if you're talking about the seat, yeah, there's a little difference, yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you so much. See you later in EuroNASCAR 2. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Andre. Jill Linster will be one to watch, I'm sure, in EuroNASCAR 2.
And I think that was a prime example of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, that's the whole point when you start.
Meanwhile, the others will be running down, of course, from the main paddock, which is on the other side of the circuit, going under the tunnel here at Brands Hatch, making their way along for the podium. It's a little bit of a laboured process getting everybody there.
Eventually, that at the end the guy comes back, you know, you can still push. So yeah, definitely, it's really try to control the race from A to C.
All of these cars will be racing again in EuroNASCAR 2, at least most of them will, in just a couple of hours' time as well, so very little rest for the teams. Hendricks Motorsports. Let's get some insight from them with Andre.
Yeah, it's Roy Hendricks. You must be very happy as the team owner of Hendricks Motorsport right now, right?
Actually, I got
yeah, this is almost the maximum. So 1 and 3 Hopefully it's really good for this weekend, for the Sunday.
What are you expecting from Jill later on in EuroNASCAR 2?
Well, I hope he can do the same though, but we will see. I mean, it's difficult. It's not an easy track, but he's a good driver, so he will manage.
Talking about tracks, next time it's going to be your home race. I know that you have been on the oval several times as a race car driver. You grew up on the old track at Van Ray on the short oval. You have a lot of experience there. Is that a big advantage for you?
Yes and no. The cars that I drove are really different than these cars, and we are limited on what we can do. But of course, a little bit more experience will help, I hope. But also that is something we will see. I mean, all our drivers actually drove Van Ray before, so that could be a benefit.
All right, thank you, Will. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. Back to you, Adam.
Interesting. Is there a third chassis in the shop if he wants to have a go at racing as well? I wonder. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, some more of the drivers are starting to make their way under the tunnel towards victory lane at the moment, and I see that Andre, as usual, has done his stellar work of grabbing them by the collar and saying, "It's interview o'clock, down to you, Andre."
Thank you so much, Max Lanza next to me. It was a very interesting race. How was it from your side?
Yes, it was a great race. I'm very happy because my team made a fantastic job on the setup of the car. This morning we was very fast in the warm-up, and I was confident in a good race. So the race was fantastic. I had a good pace for all the race, and it's okay, wonderful. After the race of yesterday, after the collision with my friend Ricardo, I have a puncture and compromised all my race. So today I'm very happy. Fantastic, wonderful.
Grazie mille, congratulations, see you on the podium.
See you, bye.
Back to you, Adam.
There you go, Max Lanza, great to hear from him. He's always loving racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And speaking of drivers who love racing in NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, one of them loves overtaking in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. That's Ryan Vargas, who moved from 18th to 10th during the race. Had good feel in the car, and he's down with Andre.
Ryan, another amazing race. I think top 10 for you.
Yeah, from 18th. I mean, what the heck? The team did a phenomenal job getting the car prepared from yesterday, getting it just that much better. I think we're a little too tight still to challenge for 8th or 9th, but regardless, just an unbelievable drive. To go from 18th to 10th, unbelievable. I was calling Patrick from Critical Path, and he was just over the moon. So just a team effort by everybody, from the partners to the crew to everybody involved.
To the European NASCAR fans, oval racing coming up next. How would you describe being on a short track like Van Ray?
I cannot wait to rip the fence there. I am so eager. I'm going to put that thing right on the wall.
All right. Thank you so much. Congratulations. See you later. Back to you, Adam. I think we start with the podium right now.
So when he says right on the wall, does he mean Highline or does he mean NASCAR Playoffs 2023? Remember? I remember. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, the podiums are about to begin. And expect we will see them very, very shortly. In fact, I think it might be a minute or two yet, but nonetheless the podiums are coming and coming quickly, and that will be a big celebration, of course, for everybody. And you see the fans gathered around victory lane, wanting to see the King of Brands Hatch crowned. That's the title given to the driver who's performed best across the two races, and that will be Liam Hazeman's as well. So Liam Hazeman's fastest driver of the event. He'll get his titanium ring for that effort as well. I believe our podium ceremony is about to begin. Local announcer Chris Dawes will welcome them onto the circuit. Martin Dubeck comes up to the third step of the podium He's been on that top step a lot this year in EuroNASCAR 2. His mind will already be thinking about that and trying to gain a second EuroNASCAR 2 championship. Luca Lasser, certainly not a race that went entirely to plan, but he still managed to get second place out of it. And then Liam Hasemans from pole dominated that race. As he said, it wasn't easy, but the result is what he needed.
Congratulations there. Liam Hasemans gets the anthem. The trophies are ready. So first of all, the third place trophy to Martin Dubeck. He's back here on
Martin Dubeck receiving his third place trophy then. A good result for the driver of the number 7, a 1-3, as Roy Hendricks said. And they've had a lot of podiums, a lot of wins so far. That is a very big trophy in EuroNASCAR Pro here at the American Speed Fest, and it goes today to Liam Hasemans. He has a couple of plaudits coming his way. Of course, he also wins Junior Trophy by dint of this overall victory, alongside two of the more experienced drivers on the grid, though, with the overall podium, Lasser and Dubeck. And I wonder if they're thirsty. It's champagne o'clock. Certainly Liam Hasemans got the brunt of that, didn't he? But they will now get some photos before the next of our ceremonies. Luca Lasser, Liam Hasemans and Martin Dubeck posing for their pictures. The next presentation will be for the leader of the championship, and as I alluded to post-race, it will still be Vittorio Garelli that will be on the championship lead. He will still have the red windscreen banner from Whelen, going into the following round at Venray. So he will be up on in just a second to receive his championship leader's banner once again. He'll feel more than a little aggrieved, I think, with the circumstances of race number 2 here, but it's a long championship. It's a championship with drop scores as well. And of course, there's a long, long way to go, including the 2 playoffs events. This man, though, Vittorio Garelli with PK Car Sports, still having the most victories of the season so far, still arguably looking like the quickest driver out there when the car is okay. And he is not happy with 8th place. However, he will be coming back strong, I'm sure, when we head to the Oval. Next up, we have a coronation. The king of Brands Hatch, the fastest driver of the event, the combined results across both races. And this time, it's Liam Hasemans who will receive the plaudits. He will receive the titanium ring from TJ and Marco Raggi. Hasemans celebrates being the king for this weekend. King Liam I makes his way down from the podium. However, he won't be off the podium for long because the next presentation is for the Junior Trophy. Ryan Vargas will take the third step of the podium. Top 10 finish, good enough for third as well in Junior Trophy. Paul Giffroy and Liam Hasemans will be there as well. There's Ryan climbing up to the third step. Second step of the podium will go to Paul Giffroy. Here is Liam Hasemans. He's got the crown on. And they now celebrate the Junior Trophy honours. Looking from afar as the presentations go out for Junior Trophy. And Liam Hasemans celebrates his Junior Trophy win as well as his overall victory. I think he may well be right on the verge of second in the overall points as well. How far behind Erkley was he? 10 points. I think he might have just about done enough to be either knocking on the door of or at least close to second in the standings. I think he will have leapfrogged Giffroy at the very least to move up to P3. Incidentally, I think Ryan Vargas may well have 5 bonus points coming his way for most overtakes during that race as well. Max Lanza coming up to the third step of the podium, joined now by Riccardo Romagnoli. In fact, sorry, that's Kenko Miura. I'm reading it the wrong way around. Kenko Miura on the third step, Romagnoli on the second. Of course, it was Lanza that won in Challenger Trophy, fairly uncontested, while Romagnoli and Miura had quite a good battle outside the top 10. Kenko Miura taking the third step of the podium. Great to have him back after he missed Vallelunga. Romagnoli second. And Massimilio Lanza taking the top step of the podium in Challenger Trophy. Another solid weekend from Lanza in the 88 Cal Racing car. And they will all be racing, of course, in Ben Ray in less than a month's time. 29th and 30th of June will now be our next EuroNASCAR Pro Racing action. However, we've got more to come here from the EuroNASCAR 2 category. And it is going to be 17:20, 5:20 Central European Summer Time, 4:20 p.m. UK time, so less than 2 hours time. About 100 minutes from now, we'll go racing again with EuroNASCAR 2. Will Martin Dubeck be able to take a clean sweep of the racing in EuroNASCAR 2 this weekend? We don't have long to wait to find out. Our final race of American Speedfest 11 will be on very shortly, round 6 of the EuroNASCAR 2 season.